So let's start the class. Hey, Praneeth. So today in the class we have Danya and Dia. These are two new kids in the class. And for you guys to be aware, when I teach in the class, you guys don't have to worry about taking notes or anything, okay? Because everything that I'm doing is getting recorded and you all will have the video of the class that you can watch later on and make your own notes. So what it means is when we are in the class, only focus on understanding or following what I'm talking about, okay? Am I speaking very fast, Danya or Dia? It's okay. It's okay? Alright.
Yes.
So, if there is anything that is not clear, don't hesitate to ask me. I don't think I look very scary as a teacher, so don't have to be scared of me. Alright? Okay, so let's get started. So, Danya and Dia, you guys are in which grade?
I'm in 5th grade.
You're in 5th grade. Okay.
I'm in 4th grade.
Okay. So, this class is for kids from 3rd to 5th grade. What it means is, we will learn all the concepts that you guys need to know from 3rd to 5th grade. So in 1 year, I will take care of each one of you, or your syllabus rather, without worrying about it. Somebody who is in 3rd grade is actually going to learn things till 5th grade. Somebody who is in 4th grade will not only learn 4th grade, but will also learn 5th grade concepts. Okay? So, Mustafa, sit down, be stable in one place. Okay, so that way you can concentrate on what we are doing. So right now we are, so Ashad, you might want to take a notebook and a pen out so that when we try solving something, yeah, you can come here, of course. So right now we are learning geometry and we have learned about certain shapes and its properties, and we will learn, Praneeth. Nobody has to be mischievous in the class. Stay stable, calm, so that I don't get distracted by seeing you guys. Alright, so we were talking about quadrilaterals. So Danya and Dia, since you guys are new in the class, do you know what is a quadrilateral? And it's okay if you don't know, it's perfectly fine, because that is why I'm here. So Danya and Dia, Dikshita, you know, right? What is a quadrilateral?
I kind of forgot.
You forgot? Okay. So anyways, we are, and you guys will think that I'm just talking theory. That is not the case. I'm going to talk about all the shapes, their properties, and then we will look at how we use that information for finding out other details like area, perimeter, and those things. Okay? Everybody is stable, comfortable, good to get started? Okay. So quadrilateral, when you talk about quadrilateral refers to all the shapes which has 4 sides and 4 angles. Now rectangle is a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides and 4 angles. Square is a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides and 4 angles. Yeah? Make sense, Dia and Danya? And I'm calling out their names because they are in the class for the first time. That doesn't mean I don't want everybody else to be sure. Zanab, you are clear, right? You remember that? Okay. Now, so we talked about the property of these shapes, rectangle, square, and rhombus in the last class. I will quickly skim through that so that everybody is on the same page. And then we have talked about triangles also in the past, but we'll come back to it again, okay? So don't worry about it. So first quadrilateral is a rectangle. What is a rectangle? It has opposite sides equal. So this side equal, this side equal, and they are also parallel. If anybody doesn't know what is parallel, if you have 2 lines that are parallel, they will never meet. It is like the railway track that you would have ever seen. Okay? They never meet. The distance between them remains same. If they are not parallel, it will be like this. See, here the distance is so little. It is more, it is more, it is more. So the distance between the two lines changing, they are not parallel. When the distance between the two lines remains the same, that they are called parallel. Does it make sense? Yeah? So, that is why I was saying, if you're talking about a rectangle, the properties that we need to know is the opposite sides are equal and they are also parallel. So this side equal and parallel. This side equal and parallel. Okay? This is rectangle and every angle is 90 degree. This is all about rectangle that you need to know as property of a rectangle. Everybody clear? Very clear? Super clear? Okay. Sanvi okay? Mustafa okay? Mustafa coming to the classroom or going somewhere else?
I'm in my car.
Okay. Alright. So we talked about rectangle and its properties. Now let's move on to square. And these things we have covered. I'm just repeating it so that it doesn't become difficult for anybody to recall. If I'm talking about a square, what is the property of a square? Let's say if I talk about Sanvi's property, I'll say Sanvi is a small girl, she is in the math class, she is in 4th grade, she has black hair, she has longer hair. If you have to talk about my property, what will you say? He's an old man, wears glasses, has no hair or very little hair, yeah, and talks a lot. That is my property. Similarly, if you talk about a square, it also has some properties. And those are that all the sides are of same length. So if this is 4 centimeter, this is also 4 centimeter. This is also 4 centimeter. This is also 4 centimeter. Okay? And every angle is 90 degree. Or right angle, whatever you call it. Okay? So this is the property of a square. Alright? So if you have to recall the difference between a square and rectangle, rectangle has only opposite sides equal and parallel, but in square, opposite sides are equal and parallel, but every side is same actually. Yeah? It's like this. You had a rectangle and you squeeze it from both the sides such that now all the sides are of same length. It became a square. Yeah?
Yes.
Dikshita okay? Janab okay? So, this is the property of a square. A square is something like a rectangle, but it has all sides of equal length. Now, let's play with this. So, when I'm playing with this, what I mean is, I had a square and I started playing with it. What I did was, I took a square and I started squeezing it, like you are seeing here. I squeezed it, and when I squeezed it, it became thinner and taller. Okay? This became a rhombus or a diamond, whatever you call it. Okay? So, you did not change the length of the sides. You just squeeze it to make it thinner. Okay? So earlier every side was of same length. Now also all the sides are of same length. But the angle is not right angle. Angles are not 90 degree. This is what is rhombus. Okay? So if you squeeze a square, make it thinner and taller, that is a rhombus. Yeah.
Don't rhombus have like two types of angles?
Yes, it has. So, see what happened. When you squeeze it here, this broadened and this angle became bigger than 90 degree. That is obtuse angle. And these two angles, when you squeezed it, these two corners became thinner. That's what you are seeing here. These are smaller than 90 degree. So, you can say in the square you have all angles as right angle. In rhombus you have two angles as obtuse angle. more than 90 degree, and two angles as acute angle, less than 90 degree. Yeah? Dia and Dania, are you with me, beta? So far? Okay. Mustafa, okay? Deekshita, okay? Janab, okay? Pujit, okay? Our Pujit is trying to do some time with me. Okay. Alright. So here, this is the difference between a rectangle, square and a rhombus. Now, there are few more things that you need to know about a rhombus. One thing is obviously all sides are of same length. So if this is 10 centimeter, this is also 10 centimeter. This is also 10 centimeter. This is also 10 centimeter. And there is one very unique property of a rhombus. Okay? Let's say if you have to talk about my unique property. What is the unique property? This whole class, if you see. There's one thing very unique about me. I'm the only person in the class who doesn't have enough hair. Everybody else has a lot. Yeah? That's my unique property. Similarly, rhombus also has a very unique property. That, see, Deekshita is saying, yes, you're the only person who doesn't have hair. Okay, and that's true. There is no shying away from the fact. Okay, so now, the unique property of rhombus is, if you join the opposite corners, this corner and this corner, this and this that you see, the two lines that you see in the middle, those are called diagonals. Those are called diagonals. When you join the opposite corners of a rhombus, those are called diagonals. And the unique property is, these diagonals when they meet, they make 90-degree angle. And they divide each other into two equal parts. Meaning, if you're talking about this diagonal, let me do some color coding here. There is a diagonal which is green in color. This is one diagonal, this is the green one. And there is a diagonal which is red in color. So when the green and red diagonals meet, they are meeting at 90 degrees. So every angle that you see here is 90 degree or right angle. And they are true enemies. When I say enemies, what I mean by that is, the red diagonal splits the green diagonal into two parts. The green diagonal also splits the red diagonal into two parts. Equal parts. Okay? So, this part and this part are same length. This part and this part are same length. Does it sound okay or something confusing? Pujit? Clear? Yeah? So this is a unique property of the rhombus that I was talking about. And that is that if you join the diagonals, okay, the opposite corners of a rhombus, they meet at 90 degree and they divide each other into two parts. That's it. If you remember this, when you guys grow up a little bit more, I will show you how this property actually helps you find out the area of the rhombus. Okay? Not right now. I want you to spend maybe 3 more years or 4 more years with you guys before I prove this. Because this will need a concept called congruence. And if I talk about congruence now, you guys will be very, very, very scared. Okay? It's too early to talk about congruence.
We're
Yes.
like done learning with congruence in school.
So, in the simplest form, if I say what is congruence? Congruence is another word that you can use for same. If I say two things are congruent, they are same. They have everything matching. Okay, so let's not go beyond that. Okay, because if I start talking about congruence, there are different concepts of congruence that you would need to learn. Okay, and those are not for you guys. You guys are very small right now. Okay, as small as an acute angle. Okay, all right. So we talked about properties of a rectangle, properties of a square, and we talked about properties of a rhombus. Is everybody okay so far? Danya and Dia, I will keep bugging you guys more because this is your first class. Okay? Danya, okay? Alright. So now, let's go to the next member of the quadrilateral family, and all that we are talking about right now are quadrilaterals, meaning the shapes which have 4 sides and 4 angles. We talked about rectangle, it has 4 sides, 4 angles, it has some properties. We talked about square, it has 4 sides and 4 angles, it has some properties. We talked about rhombus, it has 4 sides and 4 squares, some properties. Okay? Now let's go to the next shape. And this is a very interesting shape. It is called kite. It's also a toy that we play with. Dikshita, do you know about kite? Mustafa also knows about kite. Have you guys ever played with it? Have you ever tried flying a kite? Zanab, have you seen a kite before? It's a toy that you make out of paper and you attach to a string and then you can fly it in the sky. Okay? But all of you who had come across a kite, you would have come across this as a toy. Now we are making our life difficult by relating that with math. Okay? Janab is thinking, how come a toy is related to math? Yeah? Pujit, have you seen a kite before? Okay. So, kite is also a quadrilateral, like what you can see here. This also has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. And that is the reason it is part of the same family called quadrilaterals. Yeah? Now, what is the property of a kite? Why Pujit is crying? No, don't play with emojis. Yes, Dikshita, you're saying something. Yeah, go ahead.
A property of a kite is that the top 2 lines are the same. They're the same, like they're the same length, and then the bottom 2 are the same length.
Exactly. That's the only property. And I know my drawing skills are not amazing. I just did just okay with my drawing. But if it is making sense, as Dikshita said, if you are talking about a kite, the top 2 sides, I will not say line, okay? I will say sides, okay? So top 2 sides are of same length. Let's say this is given as 10 centimeter. This is also 10 centimeter. And the bottom 2 sides are also the same length. So if this one is, let's say, 15 centimeter, this is also 15 centimeter. Make sense? Mustafa okay? Pujit okay? Danya and Dia okay? Sanvi okay? Praneet okay? Yes.
I have a question. Those lines, are those showed to like represent parallel lines?
No, it doesn't look like parallel lines, right? I mean, see, I know, if it turns out to be parallel, I would not worry about it, but that is not part of the property that we want to be aware of right now. Okay? Dia okay? Or thinking? No, and you guys can unmute yourself and share things, okay? Because when you share, I would know where you are clear and where you are not clear. Like Dikshita shared, right? She unmuted herself, raised her hand, and she shared. I would want, yes, Praneet.
How do you find the area of a kite?
I have not reached there. So I'm trying to go from first floor to second floor. I have 20 stairs to jump one by one. So I'm on the second step right now, okay? 18 more steps to go. Alright? See, this is where the approach that we follow in the classes, first we will look at each and every property of the shape, be very, very, very clear about it, and then we will use that information for deriving other things. Okay? Alright? So, kite, everybody clear? It's a quadrilateral, the top 2 sides and bottom 2 sides are of the same length. So if somebody says, what is the difference between a rhombus and a kite? First thing you will say, see, rhombus has all 4 sides of same length. This side, this side, this side, this side, same length. But in kite, only top 2 and bottom 2 sides are of same length. That's the difference. Okay? Everybody clear? Now, Kite also has one more property that you would want to know, and that is you can join the opposite corners and they will still be called diagonals. Okay? Only thing that is very unique about kite is they meet at 90 degree. No question about it. Every angle that is formed by joining these two diagonals make 90 degree angle, and that's it. I will not say, in case of rhombus I said these are 90 degree and they divide each other into two parts. Here, two equal parts. Here I will not make that statement. Okay? Is that okay? So between rhombus and kite, if you have to know the difference, rhombus has all four sides same. It has only top two and bottom two sides of same length. What is common between rhombus and kite? Here the diagonals also meet at 90 degree. Here also the diagonals meet at 90 degree. But the difference is, in case of rhombus, the diagonals divide each other into two equal parts. Here that is not the case. Yeah? So see again, whatever I am blabbering right now, you would only retain 15 or 20% of it after the class. So after the class is done, what I request you guys is, once I upload the video of the class, watch the video and then make your notes. Okay, what did we learn about rhombus? 3 lines about rhombus. What did we learn about square? The 3 properties about the square. What did we learn about rectangle? 3 properties of the rectangle. If you note it down, that becomes your note, and that will stay with you much longer. Okay? And that's the reason why I make the video. Because I am very poor when it comes to memorizing things. And that's a normal human behavior. We all forget. Okay? And then when we practice some problems, that becomes much more easier. So we talked about rectangle, square, rhombus and kite. There are 2 more shapes we will talk about. One is called parallelogram, other one is called trapezoid. And again, this is also part of the same family. So if I am talking about parallelogram, this is a parallelogram. I did not do a good drawing. Let me do a better drawing. Okay. If this is a parallelogram, again, if I am calling this a parallelogram, this is part of the quadrilateral family. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. Okay. The property of the parallelogram is that opposite sides are parallel and equal. See, even if it's going this way, they are parallel. The distance between them the same. Opposite sides are parallel and equal. So this side is of same length and they are parallel. This side, same length and parallel. Okay? But the angles may or may not be 90 degree. Because now if you relate that to the rectangle, what you know is opposite sides are parallel and equal and every angle is 90 degree. In case of parallelogram, you don't have that restriction. Your angles may or may not be 90 degree. Okay? Yeah? So when you talk about parallelogram, you are saying that okay, opposite sides are equal and parallel and the angles may or may not be 90 degree. When they are all 90 degree, it is a rectangle. If it is not, it's just a parallelogram. Okay? So if you visualize this is parallelogram. A bigger family. Rectangle is a small baby in that family. So the drawing, this is not the drawing of parallelogram by any means, okay? These are circles. I'm just saying, parallelogram is a bigger bucket inside which you have a rectangle. Does it make sense? Sure. So all the parallelograms, if you look at the entire all the types of parallelogram that you can come across. There will be some parallelograms where the angles will be 90 degree, and those parallelograms are rectangle. But there will be parallelograms which doesn't have angles at 90 degree. That is not rectangle. So parallelogram includes all the types of quadrilateral which are rectangle and not rectangle also. That's what this drawing means. Does it make sense or it doesn't? Dia is thinking, if I say yes, it makes sense, then my teacher will help me accountable. Yes, Jenna, tell me better.
It kind of makes sense.
It makes sense? Kind of, little bit or more?
It makes sense for me.
Makes sense to everybody? Okay.
It makes sense for me.
Okay.
Didn't quite understand.
Which part you did not understand? Tell me.
Practically the parts that you were saying before the rectangle and parallelogram and all that stuff.
Okay, so think of parallelogram as a broader category. All the quadrilaterals where your opposite sides are equal and parallel, they are parallelogram. Okay? So look at parallelogram says when your opposite sides are equal and parallel, that is a parallelogram. Okay? It doesn't talk about the angle. So there are two scenarios. One, when angle equal to all the angles are 90 degree, when all angles are not equal to 90 degree. Okay? So parallelogram is a broader category which includes the quadrilaterals which has all the angles as 90 degree and which has all the which doesn't have angles as 90 degree. When all the angles are 90 degree, this becomes rectangle. When it's not, you just call it a parallelogram. Okay? Does it make sense today? So you can think of parallelogram like the daddy or the mommy. Rectangle is one of the child. Other kids are also there in the family. Okay? Make sense? I know some of you are the only child in the family, and that's understood. But then that doesn't mean that a family cannot have more than one child. Correct? So I hope this you can relate to it. Yeah? Okay. Now, so Dikshita was saying yes, when I said that it doesn't mean family cannot have more than one child, because Dikshita has one more sibling. So that's why she agrees to the point. So that was on a lighter note. On a serious point, parallelogram, every quadrilateral where your opposite sides are equal and parallel, that's a parallelogram. There could be some parallelograms where the angles are 90 degree, that will also be called a rectangle. Is a rectangle a parallelogram? Always. Is every parallelogram a rectangle? No. Yeah? Because parallelogram has two flavors, with 90 degree, without 90 degree. With 90 degree rectangle. So every rectangle is a parallelogram, but every parallelogram will not be a rectangle. Does it make sense? Danya? Sure? Mustafa? Janab? A little bit, a lot more. Okay, let's move on. So we talked about rectangle, square, rhombus, kite and parallelogram. Pujit, thumbs down is for what?
I accidentally did it.
Okay. Now the last shape in this quadrilateral family. What is the name of this guy? Yep.
Trapezoid.
Trapezoid. Yep, Praneet.
Trapezoid.
Trapezoid. Pujit.
Trapezoid.
Mustafa.
Trapezoid.
Okay, Danya.
Trapezoid.
Trapezoid. Janab. Good to hear. Yeah. I mean, I will not see. Dikshita is saying that I have two brothers, so she has two
Wait,
more
this is
sisters.
trapezium, I think.
Trapezoid and trapezium are two names that you can give to this shape. Okay? There is no difference between trapezoid and trapezium. You can use either of the terms.
In
Yes.
the UK, they call it trapezium.
I'm sorry?
In the UK, they call it trapezium.
Okay, so here's the information that I was not aware of. What Asha is saying is that in UK they call it trapezium, in US we call it trapezoid. Good information. Yes, Danya, you're saying something better. Oh, that's okay. Praneet, put that down. We are not learning the techniques that a handyman needs to know. Okay, coming back to the class. So it's a trapezoid or trapezium, whatever you call it. Here, what is the property of this trapezoid or trapezium? It also has four sides. That's why it's part of the same quadrilateral family. Okay? There's four sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four angles also. But the only property that you would want to know is that there is only one pair of line that is parallel. So this line, sorry, this side and this side are parallel, but they are not of the same length. Okay? Remember this. In parallelogram, we said opposite sides are parallel and equal. Here we are saying there is only one pair of line that are parallel, but they are not equal. Okay? They are not equal. We'll make that statement. 100%. Pujit, go ahead. So here's the protocol. If somebody in the middle of the class wants to go to the restroom, we'll need to just click on this. Once you are back from there, you can click on this. That's it. So that way I would know somebody is going to the restroom. You don't have to type, text. There could be an emergency also. You are typing and then some disaster happens. Don't do that. Okay? Alright. So we are talking about trapezoid or trapezium. Only property that we need to know is the opposite sides are, there's only one pair of sides that are parallel, but they are not equal. And that is enough to know about a trapezoid or trapezium. Is that okay? Everybody clear?
Yes.
Okay. So we talked about, so except Danya and Dia, we have talked about line, angles, triangles and quadrilaterals. So Danya and Dia only heard about quadrilaterals. So I'm not talking about triangles right now, but we will just look at one more shape called circle and then we'll start playing with the math. Okay? So far we are just learning the property, right? And just learning the property is not enough. Just knowing that your teacher doesn't have hair is not enough. You want to learn something from the teacher as well. Okay? Dikshita is saying something. Okay. Now, the next shape that we want to know about is egg. Not egg, circle. Okay? You all will learn about egg when you guys grow up a little bit more, when we learn about ellipse. Not right now. We are talking about circle. And what is the property of a circle? Circle is a round shape. And only thing that you would want to take into consideration, or only thing that you want to know is, property of a circle is such that there is a point called center. Center of the circle. And the distance from the center to any point on the circle is the same. Okay? That is the only property of the circle that you would want to know. The circle is a round shape where in the middle there is a point called center, or center of the circle. And the property is such that from the center, if you join any point on the circle, the distance will be the same. What is the distance called?
Radius.
Radius. Praneet? Radius.
Radius.
Radius, Zinav, radius. Everybody knows the radius? Okay. Now we are done talking about the property of shapes. And we are getting into a serious affair. I'm not saying that we were not serious so far, but now we will see the mathematical significance of the shapes that we were talking about. And the question is this. Now there's $1 million question and nobody gets $1 million, okay? Is why are we learning about the shapes actually? Any idea? Huh? Why are we learning about the shapes? How does it help? Yeah.
To help us like map out different like so suppose like for this book you get to see how long the book is and how like wide the book is.
Okay. Yeah, Praneet, go ahead. You're saying something.
It's important to learn about the shapes so we can learn about the internet perimeter of them.
Okay. Zainab. Guys, give me some practical example, okay? I don't want to learn because I want to get 100% in my test. I want to learn because this will help us in real life. That's why my question is. That's what my question is. So Zainab, tell me that. What is your understanding of the shape? Why are we even learning about it?
We can help in geometry when we do it at school.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Deeshita. Unmute yourself. Yep.
You can use it, when you learn, when you learn something, you could already know what to do, so you won't need to struggle on it, in the future if you don't remember how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, you can sometimes struggle, but if you already learn it, it's really easy for you.
Okay. Let's see what Dia wants to say. Yes, Dia. Tell me, Beta, why are we learning geometry? Unmute yourself. Yeah.
You can find it easily when you need to find a shape.
Okay. Pujit. I can borrow that notebook from you.
You're teaching above my grade, like things above my lessons, but when I get to that lesson, like to geometry in my school, I can just easily write the answers down without struggling because you teach me it.
Okay, let's see what Danya wants to say.
And we can show our work.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're older and you have like some questions based on shapes, like right now you teach us the eagles and what kind of shape it is, what kind of properties it has. You can answer based on that geometry.
Okay, let's see what Dia wants to add to what she said. And then I'll get started. Yes, Dia.
I have a question. I just actually made it here. The raise.
Okay. Go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead, Beta. Okay. So now here's the thing. You guys gave me very intellectual answers. I'm looking for very stupid answer. When I say very stupid, what I mean by that is we are not learning math because we want to get stressed out. We are not learning math because we want to memorize formulas. We are learning math because it is all around us. Dikshita, now I will go ahead, okay? I will continue with my thought so that the other 20 minutes we have, we can make use of it. And I'll let you guys speak, okay, when the time comes. Now look at this. Let's say I know I need a material for making the paper, okay, or a notebook. If I have to create one page of this, how much material I need? Do I need 10 grams of the material? Do I need 50 grams of the material? Do I need 5 pounds of the material? What would make this paper? For me to be able to find out how much material I would need, or let's say you are trying to make pizza, okay? You know what is that you need for making pizza. How much of that, let's say you're needing flour. Would you need 2 pounds of flour or 5,000 pounds of flour for making a small pizza? Right? That's not a question asked. So, you will figure out how much material you would need depending on how big or small the pizza is. And you can see that you will make a guesstimate that okay, I will probably need 1 or 2 pounds of flour. That is enough for making a pizza. I don't need 5,000 pounds of flour. Imagine somebody going to Walmart and buying 5,000 or 2,000 pounds of flour for making one pizza. That's an overkill. So, now how big or small the pizza is. Look at this pizza versus this pizza versus this pizza. And how big or small the pizza is, you would need quantity of the flour in accordance with that. And there is a mathematical way to find out how big the pizza is, that is called area. Now what you are saying is, okay, this bigger pizza, this smaller pizza, this tiny pizza, this is nothing but the area. This represents the area. So basically, you visually know how big or small thing you need, and there is a mathematical way to represent it, and that is where it will help you derive how much of quantity you will need. Let's say you learn how to make tire of a car. Let's hypothetically assume you learn how to make tire of a car. Is tire a circle or a rectangle?
Circle.
Circle. Now if you know how to find out the perimeter or the area, you would know how much material you would need for making a tire. You look around, you will see your doors are like rectangle. Your wall is a rectangle. If you have to color the wall, how big the wall is, how much of the area you want to paint. All these are basic life skill, okay? Let's say you have a notebook that you want to, one page of the notebook you want to color it. Would you need 1 sketch pen or 5 sketch pen or markers? That depends on how big is the page, and that is nothing but the area. So there are a lot of things that we do practically, there are a lot of things that we see around us. We are trying to relate that with math so that we can make better judgment. Okay? You can make guesstimate to find it out. Everything around us, look at your wall, window, doors, tire of the daddy's car, rotating fan. These are all different shapes that we come across. If we have a good understanding of these shapes, we can make a lot of very good judgment. Okay? So that is why we are learning math. And if you learn this, you can apply it also. Alright? Was that a practical example or very cryptic? Relatable? Okay. So remember one thing. I tell you guys in the class that we are not learning math to score 100%. You will score 100% by default if you are clear with the concept. But we are not chasing that 100%. We are learning these concepts to become much more aware of what we are doing and how these things are important for us. Yeah. So now we will get to the math. I was just trying to get you guys excited that you're not learning math for getting 100%. That is not the goal. 100% will come or 90% will come based on how you prepare, how you practice. But we are not here for a rat race. We are not chasing any score for that matter. Now let's come to the math. So now if you see this rectangle versus this rectangle versus this rectangle, daddy rectangle, elder brother, baby rectangle, or mommy rectangle, elder sister, younger sister. What is the difference between these 3 rectangles that you see? This needs more area, this needs more space, this needs less space, this needs even less space. Dikshita, is that what you were trying to say? Yeah? So basically, see, again, I will pause myself and ask you guys questions when I'm done explaining things, okay? I would not probably expect a response for every statement that I say. But what I'm trying to say here is, when we look at these three shapes here, you see that this needs more space, lesser space for drawing it on the board. And the space that any shape takes or uses is called the area of the shape. Put it down. It's called area of that shape. So now if you start thinking mathematically, you will not say this is big rectangle, small rectangle, even smaller. You'll say this is a big rectangle because it needs more space, it has more area. This needs little less space, the area of this rectangle is smaller than this one. Area of this rectangle is least among the three. Okay? So area is nothing but the space taken by that object on the surface where you are drawing it. Clear? What is a perimeter? Let's see if anybody knows about perimeter. Yes, Praneet.
A perimeter is the fence around the shape.
Okay. Janab.
A perimeter is like the outside of the shape.
Okay. Deekshita.
A perimeter is
Mm-hmm.
a perimeter is like the length of the side of the shape.
Okay. Danya.
A perimeter is the outside of the shape. An example would be, let's say, for a square, it'll be, let's say, 4 inches, other side 4 inches, the other side 4 inches, and the last side also 4 inches. If you add them all to sum, you get a perimeter.
Wonderful. Okay. And Dia. Same thing?
The perimeter is the outside of the shape.
Okay. Mustafa also same?
Perimeter is the outside boundaries of the shape.
Okay. So as you guys said, now if I bundle it all together and make a statement, I'll say area of any object is the space taken by it, wherein the perimeter is the length of the boundary. Like Danya was explaining. Add all the sides, that becomes your perimeter. Okay? So now we'll get into every shape one by one and see whatever property we talked about, how that helps us in finding out the area and perimeter of the shapes. Okay? So, first shape we will talk about is rectangle. Now, if you recall, we talked about it has opposite sides equal and parallel. So let's say we'll call this as the length. This is this long, and this is this wide. So we'll call this as width. What is the area of a rectangle? Does anybody in the class don't know what is the area of a rectangle? No, I asked. Does anybody in the class doesn't know? Okay. Now let me ask Pujit. Pujit, what is the area of a rectangle? What is the formula for that? Okay, I'll go to Danya then. Danya, go ahead, beta.
For the area of the rectangle, you need to multiply two sides.
Length times width. So if this is your one side, this side same, and this side same. We'll call this as length, this as width. So area of a rectangle is length times width. There's another way you will look at it. Okay? Dia, you want to add something with that?
The area is the inside.
I'm sorry, Vika?
The area is the inside of the shape.
Area is the inside of the shape. Now we are trying to get to the next level where we are trying to find out, okay, how do I find it out? How do I give a number to the area? So if this is a rectangle, the area, I mean that holds true for any shape, okay? Any shape's area is the space taken by that object or the inside of that object. Here now we have started dealing with how do you find out the area of a rectangle. Area of a rectangle is length times width. If this is length, this is width, this is length times width. Now there is one more thing that you would want to keep in mind because this will help you remember this. Let's say I am talking about a rectangle which is 3 centimeter long and 1 centimeter wide. As soon as I say what is the area of rectangle, you will say length times width 3 times 1, 4 centimeter square. Right? Sorry, 3 times 1, 3 centimeter square. Correct? Now, I am saying look at it a little differently. Look at this. What did I do? This was 3 centimeter long. I split this into 3 squares. Now what I have? This is one square that is using black Sharpie. This is another one which is using the green Sharpie. I don't know if it's using green or not. And there is another one with the blue Sharpie. So you are seeing 3 squares here. Okay? And every square I will give it a name. This square, this side is 1 centimeter, this side is 1 centimeter. So I can give it a name saying 1 centimeter square. Yeah? So when you look at this whole rectangle, this is 1 centimeter square, this is also 1 centimeter square, this is also 1 centimeter square. So you have 3 centimeter squares. I'll repeat myself. If I have a square which has all sides as 1 centimeter, what would be the name? What would be a good name for this square? Yeah.
1 centimeter square.
Yep. Yeah, Dikshita. Yeah, mute yourself. Yeah.
A good name for where, like, I accidentally raised my hand.
Okay. So now I am saying that I have a square where all the sides are of 1 centimeter. Can you guys give it a good name? Pradeep, hold it. I'm asking Jana. Okay. Yeah, Pradeep, go ahead. You're on the mute button. Unmute and tell me in 2 words. What is the name?
1 by 1 centimeter square.
No. I was asking you guys a simple thing. You guys are forgetting that you guys are kids. Behave like kids. Don't behave like scientists. Yes, Mustafa.
Is it congruent?
No. So now, see, I gave you guys a simple riddle to solve. I said, I have a square where all the sides are of 1 centimeter. What could be a good name for it? Asha told me that you can give it a name saying 1 centimeter square. Yeah, because all the sides are 1 centimeter. You get a name 1 centimeter square. And that is the area of this guy also. Now, so every square which is 1 centimeter in length, I will call it 1 centimeter square. Now let's look at it. If I have a rectangle which is 2 centimeter long and 1 centimeter wide, what I did, I split this into 2 parts. So here to here it is 1 centimeter, here to here it is 1 centimeter. Now we have 2 squares here. Again, 2 centimeter squares. One is the blue one, and other one is red one. And both are 1 centimeter squares. Yeah. So how many 1 centimeter squares I have? I have 2. The blue one is a 1 centimeter square. This one is also 1 centimeter square. This is 1 centimeter square. This is 1 centimeter square. That became 2 centimeter squares. that will be my area. And if you relate it with this formula, 2 times 1, 2 centimeters square, that's the area of this guy. Length times width. Yeah? Does it make sense or no? I will just show you guys one more example and then probably it will make a lot more sense. Let's say if I have a rectangle which is 4 centimeter long, here to here it is 4 centimeter, and here to here 3 centimeter. What I will do is, I will break this into 1 centimeter squares. So this is 1 centimeter square, 1 centimeter square, this is also 1 centimeter square, 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 1 centimeter square. How many 1 centimeter squares we have here?
I think 12.
12. Yeah? So that is the thing here. This side was 4 centimeter, I could break into 4 1 centimeter length. This side was 3 centimeters, so I could break into 3 parts, and that converted into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 centimeter squares. Okay? So if somebody says area of this rectangle is how much, you will say 12 centimeter square, which is also same as 4 times 3. 4 centimeter times 3 centimeter, length times width. So that is how this formula is derived. If you are talking about area of a rectangle, that is length times width, and whatever I was doing here on the board, I was just trying to explain how it became 12. Okay? So area of a rectangle hereafter, okay, it's okay. I'm not looking for the answer. What I was wanting you guys to understand or appreciate is, there is a reason why area of a rectangle is length times width. Okay? Area of a rectangle is length times width. And we have exactly 2 minutes. So we will just look at, we just talked about area of a rectangle. Area of a rectangle is length times width. And if I am talking about perimeter of a rectangle, there is no rocket science here. Simple thing, you don't have to memorize the formula even. This is length and this is width. This is length, opposite sides are equal and parallel. So if this is length, this will also be length. If this is width, this will also be width. So if you have to find out the perimeter, you have to add up the boundary, length of the boundary. 1 length plus 1 length, 1 width plus 1 width. 2 times length plus 2 times width. This will be the perimeter of a rectangle. Yep. Does that sound okay? If we are talking about a square, what will be the area of a square? Imagine this is also similar as rectangle. This is length, let's say this is width. But in case of a square, your length and width are the same. So you will not call it width, you will call it length. Length times width, length times length. Area of a square is length times length. Okay? Yeah? If you have to find out the perimeter, like Dania explained, you will just add all the 4 sides, and here all the 4 sides are same. So that is not needed. So if you have to find out the perimeter, you will add all the 4 length, or 4 times the length. That will be a perimeter of a square. So these are 2 formulas that we learned. What I will do is, I will send you guys some word problems relating to the area and perimeter of rectangle and square as an assignment for this week. Let's see how you guys are able to do it. And if anybody gets a problem, we will deal with that in the next class. And then in the next class, we will talk about area and perimeter of a rhombus, area and perimeter of a kite, area and perimeter of a circle. That is what we will do in the next class. Alright? And then we will talk about area and perimeter of a triangle also. So alright? We are done with whatever we have to cover today. I will let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of the evening and come back to bother you guys in a few days. Alright? Bye bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.